Spanish word for cheese, and also the warm, delectable, cheesy dip often served up as an appetizer in many Mexican restaurants. I consider myself to be a queso connoisseur, as it is my favorite food after all. This being said, I must put the quesos of Wilmington to the test to see which one reigns supreme. In order to do this, I have recruited fellow queso lovers to help me in traveling around our city, stopping at local Mexican restaurants to try their queso in order to see which one comes out on top. This is not going to be an easy task, and we definitely have to have empty stomachs. But I'm ready to go, I'm hungry, and I'm excited to see which queso comes out on top. Come join us on our Queso Crawl through Wilmington. Let's go.
Let's begin our queso crawl at one of my favorites, El Cerro Grande. El Cerro Grande is certainly one of my most visited restaurants, and I order the queso every time I go. But how does it measure up to other quesos in Wilmington? Well, we just got us some, so now we're gonna try. Notice how the queso is dripping off the chip. It's not too runny, but it's not too thick that it doesn't drip. This is what we're gonna look for. Let's see how it is.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the queso. I'm a fan of like the texture is pretty creamy. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how are we going to be rating these quesos that we're enjoying? Well, that's an excellent question, and I'm so glad you asked. Well, we have 3 criteria that we are going to be judging the quesos off of. Number 1, flavor. Is the queso too spicy? Is it not spicy enough? Is it just right? Number 2, affordability. How much are you getting for what you're paying? And is it worth it? And lastly, number 3, texture. Is the queso too runny? Is it too chunky? Or does it drip off your chip just right? Now, each of these 3 categories are going to be out of 5 points. 1 being very poor flavor, or too expensive, or not the texture that you would like, and 5 being the best in all 3. So that leaves the quesos being rated out of a grand total of 15. Now, let's see how the quesos stack up against one another. The queso at El Cerro Grande received a total score of 11 out of 15. It received a 4 out of 5 in the category of affordability, as it is pretty much comparable to all of the others and pretty affordable for what you get. It also received a 4 in the category of texture. The queso wasn't too runny, but it also was not too thick. The queso received a 3 out of 5 in the category of flavor. It was rather bland and could use a little bit more spice, but it was a safe option for families. K38. Our second stop on our queso crawl and my personal favorite. My fellow queso lovers and I award K38's queso a solid 15 out of 15 points. They achieved this perfect score by having excellent flavor, excellent texture, and it is reasonably affordable when compared to other quesos at Mexican restaurants in our city. Our next stop is a college favorite, as they serve dollar tacos after 5 p.m. with the purchase of a drink. Let's see how their queso is. Time to taste and rate Island's queso. Island's is perfect for the college queso lover on a budget. They serve up tacos for $1 after 5 p.m. with the purchase of a drink. In their queso, just look how it drips off of the chip. That's exactly what we're looking for with texture. Let's see how it matches up to the others.
So I would say affordability is pretty regular. It's pretty on point with everything else we've had. Flavor, there's some like spices in there, like a little bit of jalapeno maybe, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying a little more. So I'm not going to give it a perfect score for that. And then also flavor. Another thing to be considered, the chips are seasoned here, so we have to put that into account. Maybe they've been tainted. And then texture, I'm a fan. It's like perfect, like not super runny, not super thick. It's good.
Zach and I award Islands Queso a 14 out of 15 points. It receives a 5 out of 5 for affordability, a 5 out of 5 for texture, and a 4 out of 5 for flavor, as it could have a little bit more spice to it. With its affordable price, creamy texture, and spicy flavor, K38's queso came out on top. Thank you for joining me, Connor McCaffrey, on my Queso Crawl of Wilmington, and go out and enjoy yourself some queso.